How are we all doing? Golden Goal Fantasy Football Podcast. We're live, and I'm joined by my good mate Sam. How's it going, mate? How are you doing? I imagine you're looking forward to that Liverpool game in half an hour's time.
Yeah, I strangely am, mate. We just talking off air, weren't we? Sort of, if there's ever a Liverpool environment, this is it. Down and out, playing a good team, and all the odds against them. I was just saying, I was kind of not overly kind of nervous or excited because it's 95+% chance that Real Madrid are just going to probably cruise this. But yeah, there's always that little 5% chance for Liverpool, and let's see what happens. But yeah, not expectant. I don't think I'm deluded, Tom. I think when James Milner's starting a Champions League game in 2023 at the Bernabeu, yeah, there's issues. As good as he once was, mate, it's not probably right for now. So yeah, looking forward to it. And there's a couple of Sky games going on, isn't there? Or a
Couple
couple
of
of
Sky
Premier League games,
games. Aye,
should I
who's your?
say?
I know you've already told me, but for the viewers' sake, who's your captain tonight? Who have you gone for?
I tried to go against all the hoodoos and try and create some sort of new positive vibe to the Brighton Palace game. So I've gone with Lewis Dunk. I think you're sort of right what you said to me off air. It's always like one shot on target for Palace and a goal, or one shot on target for Brighton and a goal. Um, but yeah, I've gone with Dunk. I think Southampton could prove a little bit more resolute at home against Brentford than maybe people think.
I feel like, depending on the occasion, Southampton can just turn up and get a draw against anyone. They can do it against Man City, sort it against Man United, albeit down to 10 men. I agree. I think it could be quite tough, but I've still gone for Tony. He rewarded me for his captaincy in the last single, so I'm going to go for him again.
Yeah, I've got Tony, I've got Raya, I've got Dunk in Sky tonight, so that's quite interesting. Kind of a mixture of things, really. And then obviously then there's some sort of fan team preferences going on as well with double Southampton defense. So it's kind of like there's almost going to be a no-win, but there could be at least a win, hopefully somewhere along the line this evening for for us.
Absolutely. Given that you want to finish this by 8 o'clock to watch your team, shall we get on to this week in Sky's fixtures? Gameweek 33,
Yeah.
that it's named. So Friday at the game week starts, blimey, we've got single match day. So Nottingham Forest against Newcastle kicking off 8 o'clock. What are you saying for that one, mate? You got a player for that game at the moment?
So for Nottingham Forest Newcastle, yeah, I brought in Trippier on Sunday.
Yep.
So yeah, I'll stick it on Trippier. Yeah, I think we were chatting about that, weren't we? There was talking of me skipping it, but I think it just made sense when I saw Badia Shield back out the team again on Saturday.
Yeah,
So I think it was
I got rid of him as well.
Badia Shield straight to Trippier.
I, f-
I
I f-
sort of fancy a bit of Chilwell talking about Chelsea, but that's for a whole different conversation. So yeah, I'll go on trips on Friday night, mate.
yeah, same as me. And then just quickly going on Badia Shill, such a disappointment. And I'm not quite sure why he keeps getting dropped either. Yeah, I
No,
think he's really good.
I think Potter's just kind of found a little bit of a solution at the moment, and he clearly doesn't want to disrupt that. He's got Fafana back in the team. He looked really good since he's come back in, and actually he's a great option, isn't he? I'd want to see a bit more from him. I brought him in when he made the move, and he obviously unfortunately got injured, but just like to see him bed back in from a physical standpoint because he's been injured so much. But he's a really good shout, and yeah, Chilwell really like that. Yeah, Buddy Shields just kind of gone to the wayside a little bit. We thought he was going to be a sort of the next Verge or the next sort of Ruben Diaz kind of impact, didn't we? Maybe not quite that level, but somewhere near.
He certainly started off that way, but yeah, sometimes these things happen, don't they? And speaking of Chelsea players, etc., I'll go bottom to top on this one. We've got Chelsea, Everton, Villa, Bournemouth, Brentford, Leicester, Southampton, Tottenham, and Wolves, Leeds on Saturday. What are you saying on that day?
I think there's some talk from a few Sky guys, aren't there, about bringing in like a Havertz or something along those lines for. I think there's a couple of um, kind of game opportunities there, isn't there? I can't remember off the top of my head if that's right. Um, Whether I do anything like that, I don't quite know yet. At the moment, I'd have my armband firmly stuck on Kane. I
Yeah.
made the same. So I did what you did on Saturday or whatever day they played Sunday. I must have set my captain, didn't see Haaland and set it as Kane, and then kickoff happened, and then I checked. It's like, oh my God, I've set Kane as
That worked all
captain.
right.
It worked out. I got 30 points, mate, and got a nice like 2,500 rank rise off the back of it because obviously Haaland didn't blank, did he? Got the goal, but not quite the same haul as Kane got. So at the moment, it's just on Kane. But unless I work out a move to maybe bring someone in from Chelsea, I do. Like I think Havertz is looking good. Like generally speaking, I've steered clear of the Chelsea attacking assets, especially on Sky. Um, but I think, yeah, like I said to you a minute ago, Tom, I think Chilwell's a good shout, isn't he? He's had a goal and a couple of assists, and I think that goal will put him back on people's radars. So there's options on Saturday. There's options, mate.
Tell you who I also like. I also like Ivan Toney against the Leicester defence at home because Wout Faes got sent off for the weekend, I'm pretty sure.
He
So
did.
he's not going to play that game. Tony at home against Leicester, I feel like he could do quite well in that one. So yeah, I think there, if you've got three options there that we've just named, maybe a fourth if you want to go for, well, even like Enzo Fernandez, he's going to be pretty decent, isn't he? Got 10-pointer weekend just gone, bonus and assists. He's looking like a great option as well, to be fair.
Yeah, and I know Bournemouth are playing pretty well at the moment, but so is Ollie Watkins. So he's another good opportunity, a good shout. He got goal and shots bonus, didn't he? Did you bring him in?
I did. Haaland, Rodri, Ake, other people. I can't remember who else I got rid of, but a number of people have left my team for Martinelli, and Watkins and Kieran Trippier.
You did quite the transfers. I did Badiashile, Haaland, and I had Bajcetic in my team out for Trippier, Zinchenko, and Ollie Watkins. Bearing in mind, I already had Martinelli and Saka in there already. So I'm pretty happy with my team, actually. It's just a shame I captained Rashford, but I think Rashford was the logical move, wasn't he? Home to Southampton, been in great form. So I don't really kick myself for that at all.
Yeah,
Um,
my captaincies would have been Rashford or Saka, personally, and they both blanked. So is what it is.
yeah. But yeah, sorry, Watkins, I think it's another good shout for that day. He got shots bonus as well. So he's kind of he's getting some shot volume there, isn't he? Which even if he doesn't score, you could come away with a 10-pointer. So yeah, I don't mind that. I think there's a few. Do you think it'll be quite split this day? Do you think it'll go to Tony against Leicester? Because a lot of people will have him for tonight, won't they?
I think it'd be Kane.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you've rightly said a few other options. I just think Kane's ownership is so big in Sky and he's been so reliable. I think a lot of people are going to go for him, but I really do like Tony against Leicester. I might do it myself, to be honest, because I need a bit of a rank rise. I already own Kane, so the loss won't be too big if Kane scores.
Kane doesn't. Kane's been pretty consistent, but a two-goal haul has not been what he's
He's just one
regularly
goal, one
been
goal,
doing.
one goal, isn't he?
But as a 20, is a 20-pointer as a captain because he always gets a little bit of a side dish with it as well, doesn't he? Your mains is your 7 points, but then you get a little bit of like a bit of greens on the side with him. A little extra 3-pointer, your peppercorn sauce on your steak or whatever it is. So like. I like that with Kane in Sky. So like even one goal is a 20-pointer. So it is tempting, but Tony's capable of a good haul, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that analogy, by the way. And then just looking at the Sunday games, just conscious of time. Arsenal, Crystal Palace. I've got how many Arsenal players? I think four. Yeah, four Arsenal players, two defenders, two midfielders. I think you could quite comfortably captain either like Saka, Martinelli, or a defender that game. I'd take your pick, really, in my opinion.
Yeah, so Palace up until tonight, I don't know what's happened in the game, but they haven't had a shot on target in 3 games, have they? So you could fancy so Zinchenko would be a great shout if you own him or Gabriel or something. Even Ramsdale, it's an 18-pointer as a cap. Um, so yeah, I think whatever. Let's be honest, Tom, they're all looking so good, aren't they? They really put Fulham away, didn't they, at the weekend?
Yep.
So I think anything of Odegaard, Saka, or Martinelli in that front three. Um, even if if there's any Trossard owners there, he got what did he get? 3 assists against
Hmm.
Fulham. It's just Jesus coming back that kind of probably makes him less desirable. I think if he was nailed in that team, he'd also there'd be a big four, wouldn't there, in there in terms of the attacking assets.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
I think I'll be Martinelli personally, but I think if you've got Saka, something like that, I just think it's such a safe pick.
Yeah, I think I'll do Saka on that day. Okay, what do I have next? It was just the clean sheet odds. I can use it because it's just a single game week this week. With only, with a few teams blanking, it's a shorter list. I'd say of this table, the clean sheet backers are probably the teams on the left-hand side. Anything on the right, I don't really think you're under 30% clean sheet odds. You can probably ignore. So as we were saying, Arsenal are 58% to keep a clean sheet. Chelsea 56, Newcastle 48, Villa 42, Tottenham 40, Wolves 40, and Brentford 36. So bookies odds, draft hand odds, Arsenal and Chelsea, the top two, which I think we really spoke about anyway, didn't we?
Yeah, makes total sense just from an eye test perspective.
Next one was just the goal, anytime goal scorer, anytime goal involvement odds. Jesus is on this list. I think draft hand are backing him to start. I don't really know what's going to happen on that day. I guess we'll see because it's a single, so we'll see. But Kane's top in the way in terms of goal scoring percentage and goal involvement percentage. And Saka's on the list, both sides too. But it's looking like Jesus is the top for Arsenal, which is interesting.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I think you said they run a few stats that maybe sometimes don't always make sense. That's sounding harsh on them, but not meaning harsh. But like a couple of times you mentioned like Alvarez, for example, which sometimes he has like 20 minutes involvement or whatever at the end. But I know exactly where they're coming from. If he was to play 90, then same as Jesus, there'd be a high probability. I just think actually Martinelli should be much higher up that list, just in the current vein of form and the
Yeah,
position that he's playing relative to Trossard. Of course, if he starts.
absolutely.
But those stats make sense, and they're there just to guide you, aren't they? You're
Absolutely.
not going to just rely on them.
Absolutely. Then we had just a view of the top players that were transferred in since last weekend. What I haven't done is a view because I haven't had time. I do apologise. I've not had time to put in the transfers made on Wednesday, and I think we need, because we're recording this as the games have kicked off, I think we need a bit of time for the stats to come in on FF stuff. So taking from FF stuff, as I said, these are the top most transferred in players in the game. I put top 1K, but it's actually the total game. And we mentioned him already, but Martinelli, Saka, Tony, Trippier, Rashford, McAllister, all the names that you could imagine are the most popular transfers in. And I think managers will be very happy with their Martinelli transfers over the weekend.
Yeah, sort of a bit annoyed really. I didn't realise how popular he was on the in because I rode him through that sticky period. Yeah, I thought he was a bit more of a differential for me, but clearly not because I didn't actually see that. But yeah, Trippier for me came in. Zinchenko came in as well. Interesting, Lewis Duncan. So a few people looked at the fixtures and thought, you know what, he could get passing some cleans and maybe a header. Poor old people that have brought Cody Gakpo in off the back of that Liverpool 7-0. Yeah, that's not. I mean, it's all teams, isn't it? That's something I wouldn't have done. But yeah, Phil Foden in again. He's in a little purple patch, isn't he? No kind of real,
Nah, no real surprises there, I don't
no
think.
real surprises in there, Tom.
Next screen was just over the last 5 game weeks, the best players for points per game per million, which I think is always an interesting stat to look at. And as we saw with last week, the top scoring players, Van Dijk, Alisson up in that list, McAllister, Rashford's no surprise, but Neto, the Bournemouth goalkeeper, obviously he got the penalty save against Bournemouth, so the points have been flying in for him. Any surprises there for you?
I was just going to say, Tom, there has been a goal in the early game for any live listeners, and you'll be glad to know, mate. Probably for other formats that Solly March has opened the score in for Brighton against Palace. Yeah, yes. That's what I'm doing as well. I think Solly March. I mean, it's going to be going off, isn't it, on the community right now with Solly March?
We should have a double.
He's had two goals.
Two goals.
I don't want to talk about it actually, mate, because it is a bit bitter, isn't it? And it's a Matoma assist. So any Matoma and Solly March owners out there, good start. Sorry, going back to your point, Tom, which You were talking about. Well, can you remind me? Oh, the last 5 game weeks, the
Yeah,
points.
yeah, I lost track because I was celebrating, but yeah, you're
I
right.
don't
Any surprises on that list?
know because I mean Neto might surprise people, but Bournemouth have been pretty decent, haven't they, for a few weeks? And then that penalty kind of, like you said, save clearly like just beefs up his points in the last
If a
5 weeks.
goalkeeper in Sky, one day I will captain a goalkeeper when they make a penalty save, get a clean sheet, and get saves bonus. What's that, like 17 points, something like that?
I did it, mate, didn't I? I did it with Nick Pope
Oh, of
the other week.
course. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was that was jammy, wasn't it?
That is very jammy. But that's
No, no.
that's the beauty of Sky, isn't it? Like every position, every player is captainable on any given day. Given that, yeah, there's just points for everyone. So that's the beauty of Sky.
Yes, mate, and yeah, no other real surprises in there. If I'm honest, like you said, there's reasons behind them all there. For engaged crew anyway.
Before we get onto the Twitter questions, we've just got the Biscuit Mini League. I call it the Biscuit Mini League now. It's the Golden Goal Mini League, prize being a biscuit of the player's choice. Top, and he was top last week. We'll see if he's top at the end of today with the goal that's just gone in for Brighton, but I'd imagine so. He's got quite a lead. David Baxter on 2,445 points. In second place, we've got Dean Hicks. Third is Martin Felton. Fourth, Glenn Murray. Fifth, Tim Barry. Sixth is Ian Parrin, some names that we certainly know, Sam. Seventh is Shane White. Eighth, Martin Felton. Two teams of his in our top of our mini league. Same with Shane White as well. He's got two teams in ninth, and then Sam Cole rounding out the top 10. So I think all to play for those biscuits. It'd be interesting to have a transfer count alongside those points because, yeah, David Baxter's got them in the bag for sure, but how many transfers does he have left?
I'm sure they're all engaged managers. I'm sure they're doing all doing really, really well. It's the biscuit, wafers, and chocolate mini league now, isn't it? I think we're sort of more inclusive, aren't we, Tom? After last week.
Okay, fair enough.
No, I'm joking. I've seen the face there, mate. I'll probably upset a lot of viewers just off saying that. That was a bit tongue in cheek, guys. It's biscuit.
Good, yeah.
We can't go down that route, can we? We'll just be giving we'll be giving out all sorts of stuff, mate, won't we?
Yeah, we're spending all our prize money budget.
Under that umbrella, it'll be like all sorts of chocolate bars and
We're
whatnot
forking out
going
more
on.
than FPL do anyway, so
What to the winner?
for the
Yeah,
prizes, yeah. They still haven't bought the
yeah.
guy the ticket. Do you see that tweet? Or they haven't bought the guy. The guy won like a couple of years ago, and you get a ticket to a game of your choice, and he's been offered like in the most respectful way possible to like the bottom clubs in the Prem. He's just been offered the absolute dregs. The poor bloke.
Nah, man, I'm not. Hot take. Well, not even a hot take. Just FPL is so overrated. I just don't get the hype on it, as you know, and I'm happy to say that live on a Sky stream. I know all the Sky fans will be like pumping the air now, but I just really despise it. I mean, the prizes, yeah, how everyone takes it so seriously for something that, guys, it doesn't give you anything. Like Tom's just said, you don't even get your ticket. So, yeah, sack it off and go and play some other decent formats. Tom's going to remain
I'm
impartial.
going to remain silent because I now make videos about FPL. So, but I would definitely say that Sky is better than FPL. I will always say that.
Tom, the good thing about these FPL videos, of course, is that they're very transferable to other platforms as well.
Exactly.
So they're always going to be multi-use, mate.
So please like and subscribe and set your bell notification to be notified whenever I upload. Okay, I'm well rehearsed on that one. Shall we have a quick gander at any questions? We got a couple. Sky FF newbie, they're completely unprepared, by the way, and it looks like we might have to do some thinking for these questions, so apologies. You might have to get the cogs whirring. So Sky FF newbie asks, he brought in Botman over Watkins on Sunday for a Newcastle double up. I don't understand. Oh, okay, he did Botman instead of Watkins, got you. Watkins is 8 points up after game 1. What would you predict the points difference between the two to be by game week 36 when he's going to buy Haaland back? Okay. So
say it again.
What do you think the points difference from now until 3 weeks' time, game week 36?
Yeah.
What will the points difference be between Botman and Watkins?
And what's the difference now? 8 points.
8 points. Watkins is 8 points up.
Um, who have Newcastle got next? What's their next few I can have a look, can't I?
They got Forest next. Forest away next.
Yep.
Thing to mention about Botman as well is he had a really good chance in the last game. I don't know if anyone... I've seen clips of them like fanning around after a corner, wasting time, and then he nearly scored. So Newcastle have Forest... Forest...
United and then West Ham.
Yeah, United, West Ham, and Villa have... They got some good games, haven't they? Villa got Bournemouth, Chelsea and Leicester, I believe.
So I can see shots bonus pretty much probably in all three of those games for Watkins.
Yeah.
Definitely Bournemouth and Leicester. So that's 10 points. You'd like to think he's going to get another goal in those next three. So that's what, 10, that's 15. And then plus you're starting, you're looking at 20, 21 points. And then for I mean, that's what I think is a decent outcome. I mean, it could be better, will it? I don't know. Botman, Forest, United, and West Ham. West Ham away, United at home, Forest away. Ooh,
I think he
I
gets...
just don't know what Newcastle are doing at the moment.
I think he gets 11 points, a clean sheet, and then 2 appearances, 2 blanks. I think that's about what he gets. Yeah, I'll probably get 1 clean sheet from those 3. I know the odds favour Newcastle against Forest, but Forest are, like you said, really good at home. I think they'll score.
So 6 points for your starting. What's he like for bonus, Botman? Is he any good?
I don't think it really matters because I'm not sure the teams that he's playing will give it away so much, if that makes sense. Botman, not great. He got passes against Bournemouth. Let's see. The reverse fixture against Forest. Oh, he just joined, so he came on as a sub, so he got no reference for that. He very rarely gets passing, to be completely honest.
So basically, if they concede, he's going to be coming out with 6 points, isn't he?
What, less than that? Yeah, for 4 point. Well, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
No, I
they
mean,
conceded all 3 games. Yeah,
3 games. Yeah. I don't think the gap will be as big as what we say, but it looks like it could be 20. It's going to be 20 odd points, doesn't it?
Do you think? And I think the reasons newbies asking that question is the number that we give him, like the value of a transfer or not? And I would suggest a transfer is probably a bit less than 10 points at the moment. Well, it depends how many you got left, of course. You need to factor that in, but I think it's probably worth a transfer.
Well, I think 15 plus, and you're like thumbs up, really, really happy.
Absolutely,
I think if he's 8 already, I think it could easily extend by another 7 to 8.
And the beauty of it is, I guess, you've got a game for Botman against Forest, and then you can just move off him if you don't fancy him. I think if he concedes against Forest, you probably had enough of him at that point and want to sell anyway, and then you can just buy Watkins for the Bournemouth game.
Yeah, good shout, Tom.
But yeah, I think you're a bit unlucky as a Botman owner because he could have scored. Was it against Wolves, wasn't it, the corner routine? I don't know if you've seen it, but he could have scored in that game. Ian Parrin, what percentage of your remaining transfers have you planned to use in March and April? Plus, how many are you looking to keep back for the 4-game week run-in May? I've got to be completely open and honest myself. I will do that planning when it gets to the international break because I think my team's just ready. Like, I don't need to make any more transfers up until that international break, and I'm just gonna take a bit of time off fantasy football, recoup, and do some planning during the break, I think.
How many have you got left, Tom?
I'm just gonna have a look. I've got... I can't see it. I need to press the transfers button. I've got 18 left.
Yeah, so I've got 16. But I'm the same like you. I'm pretty well set. I just think I'm going to take Ian's overall general advice, which I've sort of drummed in. Although I haven't had a great season, so I've not been as engaged, but I'm quite enjoying it towards the end, or the end-ish now, or the latter part, should I say. I'm just going to try and hold back as much as possible because he said that a few seasons in a row, and I'll be like, nah, I can definitely use them. And then I've needed a few towards the end, which I haven't had. So I'm going to make moves that make sense, that will have potentially nice big gains, but there'll be nothing kind of frivolous going on.
Yeah, a bit of a story about me saving my transfer to the end. We can probably leave it on that. But I famously, my best season in fantasy football was the first time that I won the Billy Bashers FC Pub Football League, which I made famous in the last pod. And basically, I had 2 transfers left on for the last couple of weeks, and I spent both of them on like Nat Phillips and someone else. And Nat Phillips, he went absolutely mad because Liverpool were chasing the top 4, and they kept 2 clean sheets on the bounce. And bringing in Nat Phillips on the final game week of the season won me my mini league just by leaving a
Did he
transfer
score
right to
in
the
that
end.
running as well? Didn't he
Did.
score at
Yeah,
Burnley
yeah.
or something?
Yeah. So I had him for that, and that won me
Nice.
that won me the league and about £100.
Yeah, those last kind of few games are like something always happens. You always need a couple of moves in the last 4 to 5 weeks. I have every year injuries, somewhat like whatever it is. Also, there's always big hauls when there's stuff going on. Do you remember Ferran Torres at Newcastle like a couple of seasons ago? Like a hat trick or something randomly because like I don't know, I can't remember what happened. They like won the league already, or I don't know what it was. And I think like Liam Dorian and a few others brought him in on the off. Like it was that perfect opportunity. That was it. It was like loads of resting going on because of like the fixture schedule, and he started and he nailed himself a hat trick. I mean, that's like game changing, isn't it? If you have the moves to do that and get like 30 odd pointer or 30 to 40 point captain and like propel yourself up your mini league or whatever. So um, it's good advice from Ian. And now I'm trying to heed it as well.
A quick little shout out to Shaniel in the chat, who it sounds like he's retired from fantasy football now. I imagine it might be Solly March related or wildcard related because he watches the FPL streams. But it's good to have you back, mate. I'm sorry to hear that fantasy's not been going so well for you. And hello, Ben and GJS as well. Sorry to just say hello at the end, but I think we've come to the end, so you can watch your Liverpool hopefully get thumped by Madrid, but we'll see.
I think Ben's buzzing for it, mate. I've got a few messages from people now saying big game coming up. So on that note, let's call it and let's see what happens.
All right, mate. See you next week. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Bye bye.
Good pod, guys. Thanks for listening, and good luck next game week.